anybody out there hear me, get your hands up. If anybody out there feel me, get your hands up. If anybody out there hear me, get your hands up. If anybody out there feel me, get your hands up.
You wouldn't understand if you stood under it. It's like the more that I talk to you, the dumber that I get. The closer that I walk to you, the further that we stand. Apart distant, nobody has the upper hand, but my body's resistant. So now, throw your phalanges in the ground. I'm still around, unbelievers stay from hell around. I found negative niggas, they only keep you down. Transmitting from Native American burial ground. I carry around the weight of our worlds on my shoulder pads. I'm supposed to blast space invaders up somebody's dash. Serious as A, B, C. If knowledge be the key, then butter roasted on the poach. And wait for your woman to get out work so she can roast your ass. And either find an open window fast. Word to the motherfucker. Word to the motherfucker.
Okay, I'm going to end it abruptly, but today in the news, it's even on the front page of CNN, it's on NPR, it's everywhere. Andre 3000 at Outkast, his first album in 17 years, going to be released on the 17th of November. And in recent times, we've talked about Andre and Outkast and how their big hit song, Bombs Over Baghdad, was clearly perfectly coordinated with 9/11 and the wars that came after. And we're not saying that's the fault of Andre 3000. Again, what we're showing is how these record executives use these artists and have them create content where they're obviously given some tips on what to say for the sake of an ongoing mass ritual. And if you're new here, this video is about way more than Andre 3000, but we talked about that recently. Last year at the start of Russia-Ukraine, I showed how the Outkast song Millennium, how Andre's lyrics, what he said, lined up with this special phenomenon in the sky that happened at the same time as Russia-Ukraine was breaking out in that same year. Because he's got lyrics about Chernobyl, which is over there. And again, it was all synced with his 47th birthday. Anyhow, Andre 3000. If you don't listen to hip-hop music, he's one of easily the more thoughtful commercial mainstream rappers that had a profound message. And again, they've synced him up with profound things in history as well. And his latest album that's coming out, it's not going to be a rap album. It's going to be all music and him playing the flute. And I think there's a message in that. You know, Andre 3000, he's a knowledgeable person. He's a researcher. He might have found that this language is cursed too, and he doesn't want to have any more to do with it. But yeah, I know it's not an accident that this is coming out at the time it is. And again, flute, you consider that instrument, it's real big in the Middle East, the flute. And right now, the tensions are, you know, reaching highs again, as they so often are in that part of the world. Back when Outkast was a super popular group in the 90s, the phrase was peace in the Middle East. It still is. It's still the problem. It's still the same stuff over and over. And anyway, we'll come back to this Andre 3000 album, but with regards to the same stuff over and over, I need to get myself on camera here, because I got to show you something that we've looked at a million times. Again, it's been in my background for many years. What is 47? And when I was looking into what's going on in the world, once upon a time I didn't know what gematria was. I knew something was going on with this number. It was just so blatant. I was like, what is it with news and 47? Like, is anyone else paying attention? Did anyone else read this story? How many 47s did they have to throw in the article? For what reason? Like, did those 47s need to be there? An estimated 47? It's like, you mean like an estimated 50? Who says an estimated 47? But if you pay attention, this number 47, it is a high ritual number. And here we are. We all heard this story, this tragic story about the hockey player who got like karate kicked in the neck with an ice skate and died on ice because his throat got slit. Number 47. Now, after this headline's been shocking people since the end of October, most people heard this story for the first time on Halloween, you know. But now we're a ways into November, and it's November 14th, and it's the day leaving 47 days left in the year, and the authorities are arresting the man who did the karate kick. High ritual. Again, if you're new here, we'll get to what 47 means. Welcome to the channel if you don't know already, because we've talked about it no less, I can't even estimate how many times. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of times we talked about 47. And here's another one that's going on today. I call Washington, D.C. the land of 47. I wrote a book years ago, 2017. I've been talking about the same thing for longer than the book's been out. I've been talking about it for a decade. Israel was drawn up as a nation September 3rd, 47. This nation, who's helped bring about Israel, it's got that birthday, the 4th day of the 7th month. And in Washington, D.C., like literally everything is 47 when you learn gematria, the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words. All of these words equal 47. Government, authority, president, White House, Republican, Democrat, they all equal 47. And the list goes on. Other things of authority. Vatican equals 47. Words like news and time have gematria 47. Of course, time is the ultimate authority. And it starts to make sense because D.C. is known as the Masonic city. And the Masons celebrate the 47th problem of Euclid, which is about how to establish foundation. Foundation's a word that has gematria 47. In America, if we look at ourselves as people that have a foundation, and our foundation are our early years, our upbringing, the things that get put in our minds, our values, our beliefs. A lot of people's values and foundation in this nation begins with Christianity and belief in government. And again, you think of D.C., this Masonic Christian city, overwhelmingly for its history. Of course, not everybody, but the majority of people in office in D.C. from the time it's been there, Christian. Again, that word equals 47, just like Vatican, like government, like authority. D.C. once used to be known as Rome on the Potomac, Roman architecture everywhere. But this super special number. And then again, it connects with this nation, and it connects with Israel being drawn up in 47, and then it officially being established the next year, May 14th, 48. But here we are on the day leaving 47 days left in the year, and a massive march for Israel on this day. And, typically when things are marching, it's military. And Israel is very much a military powerhouse, just like the Pentagon is in Washington, D.C. And here, just to make a point about actually, I'll come back to this. Let's just stick with all the 47 for now. I wanted to jump to the next topic. Well, actually, I'll just make the point real quick. 47, one of the things that also makes it special besides the 47th problem of Euclid is that its numerology is 4 plus 7, which is 11. And 11 is the master number. And that means a number like 38 is also a master number because 3 plus 8 is 11. And D.C. is the city on the 38th parallel north. And in Gematria, Pentagon equals 38. And today's 38 days after the war began on October 7th. And again, 38 is this number of death and destruction, which connects with the military and Pentagon. And Israel, long history of death and warfare, just like the U.S. Nations that have been created and with contested histories and a lot of violence in the aftermath. All kinds of parallels. But also, right here on the screen, Mike Johnson, the new Speaker of House. Did you know he's the 56th Speaker of House? And his name, Mike Johnson, equals 56, like Washington, D.C., like Society of Jesus. And think about what 56 is in numerology. 5 plus 6 is 11. So 38, 47, 56, all numbers right here in front of us on the day leaving 47 days left in here, all numbers that are pertinent to Washington, D.C. Again, Washington, D.C. is 56. The letters D.C. alone, if you just run the alphabetic order in reverse, are 47. But again, the city also on the 38th parallel. So, also today, the day leaving 47 days left in the year, the latest in the Trump legal matter. Remember, Trump put in his first Supreme Court Justice, Neil McGill Gorsuch, on April 7th, 4-7. And, of course, in Gematria, Trump equals 47, so does judge, so does gavel, so does obey. A gavel's the tool that a judge has to get order in the courtroom that they bang like a hammer. And so this legal matter comes up today. And look how perfect this ritual is. Remember, we predicted this earlier this year that we might see the indictment come through in Atlanta on the Jesuit order's birthday, August 15th, the day leaving 138 days left in the year. And that is what happened. And here's why it looked so obvious that that's what they would do. If you write out Fulton County where this comes from, it equals 138, right? Notice the 51 as well, because Today is exactly 51 weeks before the upcoming election, and this has to do with the election, and Fani Willis is also 51, and so is Federal. See how Federal's 51 forwards, 138 in reverse? Again, Fulton County's 138. Donald Trump is also 138. So that this ritual with Donald Trump in Fulton County, the indictment on the day leaving 138 days left in the year, again, 138 also connects with Federal, as does 51. And today's 51 weeks before the election. See how perfect it is? Again, that's why I'm like, how do people still come to my channel in 2023 and still debate about the significance of the ciphers forwards and backwards? People were trying to make the argument like back in 2017 when they were denouncing my work, saying it was dumb because we were running the alphabetic order forwards and backwards. And back then we were showing it wasn't dumb. We were showing how it connected these rituals so perfectly. And we've been showing the same thing a million times from then up to now. So I just don't know how people don't wrap their minds around that. This isn't some joke. This is literally what they're doing day after day. And again, the four ciphers, the alphabetic order forwards and backwards, the forwards and backwards with numerology. See how Judge is 47, so is Gavel, so is Obey. Run it the other way, Trump 47. Again, gets his first judge on 4/7, April 7th, the 97th day of the year when the word supreme is 97. Supreme Court Justice, perfect ritual. And there was a lot more to it than that. But again, Neil Gorsuch went with Trump winning the 58th U.S. presidential election after announcing from the 58-story Trump Tower, and Freemasonry's 58, and he was the apprentice, and the honorary degree of Freemasonry's the apprentice. But yeah, again, just not to lose sight of the focus, really, the lesson we're trying to pound home is, again, what is 47? What is 47? It is the number of authority, and it's used all the time. And think about it. The authorities are arresting this man for the death, but they waited all this time to do it. They waited until the day leaving 47 days left in the year. And here, I can tell you about the authorities and rituals. I believe I was used as their ritual on August 21st, 18. That's the day the FBI came to my house and falsely accused me of doing something I'd never done, and it was obvious they came there with a false accusation to see how I would react, like an intimidation tactic. But August 21st, 18, two things funny about that date in light of 47. For one, it's the day the movie Agent 47 came out in history. And for two, that year it had 47 date numerology. 8 plus 21 plus 18, 47. And consider today I got my second channel suspended, so I was down to 3 channels on YouTube. Right now the only one that's available is Gematria Effect Sports. Gematria Effect News 22 and 25 are suspended. They just suspended Gematria Effect News 25 for a video I did exactly 33 weeks earlier about the Nashville Christian school shooting, which had a good deal of 47, but it was also building 33 where they said 33 employees worked and a few other things. But again, the cabal doing this. From doing it long enough, I now get to realize how I get terrorized by the code. And this isn't the first time we've documented these things. Just like when I was 33 years old, that's when I got threatened in a car crash through my house and 2 walls on Christmas Eve. But life has gone on. Not living in fear, still pushing forward, still continue to expose and still getting harassed all the more for it. But, yeah, I mean, what could be more obvious than that? Arresting the guy who killed number 47 on the day leaving 47 days left in the year. Again, Israel, drawn up in 47. The U.S. established on the 4th day of the 7th month. A history full of 47, including Lincoln's 7 years ago. But, and again, now today in D.C., the land of 47. Okay, let me see. Was there anything else I needed to say about this Fani Willis thing? That's right, Donald Trump's running on Agenda 47 right now. Joe Biden, the 47th vice president who took office with 47-year-old Obama, and if he doesn't finish his term, he'll also give birth to the 47th president. It'll be Kamala, who has all these parallels to Obama, who again took office at age 47, who was the first Democrat since Clinton, who took office in his 47th year of life, 211 days before his 47th birthday, which is the 47th prime. Yeah, there are a few other things to this Fulton County thing, but really it's the 138-51 ritual is the point to pound home, you guys. I mean, people should want to know how bad we're getting screwed ritual after ritual as they take away rights and liberties and find more reasons to say, oh, your money's deflated, this costs more now, this corporation needs more, this corporation can stay open, your business needs to close. Again, these rituals end up having real-world consequences. Again, 51-138 for federal, Fulton County 138-51, just like Donald Trump. And again, for anyone who doesn't know, the election's November 5th, 2024. Check it out. From today to November 5th, 2024, exactly 51 weeks. So, day after day. The language, the calendar, all in sync since the 16th century because of those Jesuits that so many of these people are members of, including Biden and Trump. There's Trump. I've done more in 47 months than Biden's done in 47 years. Again, just the 47 list. Oh, don't forget the cornerstone was laid for Washington, D.C., September 18th, 1793, a date with 47 numerology. Again, the word foundation equals 47. Here's two other words that fit. The 47th problem of Euclid for the Masons is about how to establish foundation. And the pole star, if you know the Mason's compass, the Scottish Rite sets their compass at 47 degrees with the big G inside it. And they're out of France. France is also 47, like L'Enfant, the Mason, is who laid out the city of D.C. France and D.C. both got the 47 connection. But foundation's 47. The circle at the top where the compass is known as the pole star in the Masonic language, which is another 47. So, go to the 47 piece of this. So think about this with Outcast, first of all, before I even connect the Ukraine thing that happened, synced with Andre last year. If you missed that video when I covered it, watch. But first this. Outcast really got on the map for the whole country after their album AT-Aliens, a play on the word aliens. And aliens has a lot to do with the year 47. That's because in 1947 is when the Roswell incident happened in New Mexico, which is the 47th state. And for people who don't know this, the first official UFO/possible alien sighting in the history books is actually not Roswell. It's just right before Roswell, earlier in 1947, on the 47th parallel north in Seattle. And that's why the Space Needle is in Seattle, because it's the first official UFO sighting in history. But then the funny thing about New Mexico and Seattle is Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos. They both started their computer technology businesses like it's so advanced. It's like it's beyond human. But Bill Gates and Bezos both started their businesses in New Mexico and moved them up to Seattle. And then you can go on and on and on from that. But that's the 47 piece with aliens. And now you got one of the AT-Aliens, Andre, on the day leaving 47 days left in the year. Time, right? Times 47. The tropics of the earth, 47 degrees apart. After all this time, the 17th album coming on the 17th. But on the day leaving 47 days left in the year, this is the news. And, I mean, this news is like even on the front page of CNN. Keep in mind, CNN is down in Atlanta, where Outkast is out of. But still, I mean, you don't normally see... There's not many artists whose album releases make the front page of CNN at any point. So I'm thinking, and what we've been documenting about how they've been using Andre and Outkast in big world rituals with you know the stage set right now for something much greater to happen. Get Netanyahu coming back on 12/29, the anniversary of Albert Pike's birthday, who wrote the letter about 3 world wars. Now all this tension in the Middle East, you kind of associate the instrument, the flute, with the Middle East. Snake charmers and whatnot. And here's Andre 3000, this famous rapper, doing a all instrumental, no words, no lyrics, just him playing the flute. And he's been moving away from rap, really, I guess, for quite a while now, since I was in college, because they put out that album, him and Big Boy, where they were like opposite discs, and Andre was more singing than rapping. And anyway, the other thing about this is it's releasing on 71 date numerology, November 17, 2023, and the word flute is 71. And remember, the war in Israel began on October 7th, Putin's 71st birthday, 71 days for the Popes, things we pointed out before it happened, because we were looking at something crazy to happen October 7th because of the 10-4 emergency alert in Russia and the U.S. Then things pop off on Putin's birthday. But Hold on, I'm trying to find the post about the Ukraine to show you the 47 thing they did. If you missed the video on how it's connected to, I must have scrolled past it. We'll go back to the bombs over Baghdad and 9/11 too, in case you missed that as well. But first, since it's 47 Day, this is what we were looking at back after Russia-Ukraine broke out. So there's this song on their album, ATLians. Again, this is the album that really put them on the map. And in the 12th track titled Millennium, he's rapping about being unstable like Chernobyl. And again, that's over where this whole Russia-Ukraine conflict is happening. And when the war first started, there was a lot of fear-mongering about how there could be a nuclear fallout. And then on August 6th, the anniversary of the bombing of Hiroshima, they had the UN nuclear inspector go out and say that the nuclear threat is real. I mean, we've got to be super careful. But the other thing, besides just his little mention of Chernobyl, what makes this so much more interesting is that the chorus for the song mentions Earth, Jupiter, Mars. So, notice how this was. At the beginning of Russia-Ukraine, there was this story about 92 hostages being held. And 92, did I have it up here? Where did I put it at? 92 relates to big bombs. Okay, uranium, which is in the big bombs, is element 92, right? But there was a story about 92 hostages, and the war officially began in Russia-Ukraine 92 days before Andre 3000's 47th birthday. And again, Ukraine has the Gematria 47 as well. But look at this. The conjunction of Jupiter and Mars, just like what's in the chorus over and over, where he's rapping about unstable lecture. Just listen to the whole song. There's more to it than just that. But the day after his 47th birthday, you just happen to be having that conjunction as these things are popping off. And remember, there were other astrological events, really rare and strange phenomenon that were also going on with it when the Russia-Ukraine war launched. It was the first time, I forget exactly what was in alignment, but they said it was like the first time since 1776 when the American Revolution happened. And yeah, it's just so strange that that chorus is talking about that. Earth, Jupiter, Mars, that's a conjunction. And when he's turning 47, you know, you got headlines and fear-mongering about Chernobyl and the other nuclear sites over there and what could unfold. And now you got another war escalating, which is highly related. Because, again, a lot of Ashkenazi Jews are from the Ukraine region, the same ones that are in Israel. But while this thing's, you know, in the balance, now you got Andre putting out the album. It's just so weird. And with regards to Bombs Over Baghdad and his group Outkast, him and Big Boy, remember. The song is 5:04 in length, right? Key digits 54. And from when the song came out to September 11, 2001 happened was exactly 54 weeks. And Baghdad, Iraq is 54 like Jesuit order. So is the word sun. The Jesuits are a sun cult. All these rituals synced up in time. Our calendar synced with the sun. Named after the Pope of the Catholic Church. The sun-worshipping cult that the Jesuits serve. The Jesuits are a military order that carry on the tradition of the Templars who did the Crusades in the same region of the world. George W. Bush, who won the 54th presidential election. If I'm not mistaken, I think the 54th presidential election was also on 54 date numerology. But again, this happened right after, 9/11 happened right after Bush took office. And yeah, there's even more to this. The record label that put it out, of course, is 201. If you're new here, that's like the number of the Jesuit order. LaFace Records, the record label that did it, is 56 and 79, like Society of Jesus. And I must have forgot to type it in there, but Andre Benjamin, which is the name he originally went by, is also 56 and 79. And understand, I'm not blaming anything on Andre Benjamin, Andre 3000. I always think in terms of like all the commercial famous rappers, he's one of the greatest and actually had a decent message and a mostly positive message. Another guy that didn't have to say the same word over in every single rhyme. He could do the whole song without it. But that's a reason. There's a reason they use the mega talents too, because they know everyone. Like the "Bombs Over Baghdad" song is huge. Everybody who knows hip hop music knows that song. Everybody's heard that song, and that's like, again, it all goes back to all these ancient mystery religions. This letter and number stuff comes from Kabbalah, but it's part of Hermeticism, where everything carries an energy and a vibration, and it manipulates. Yeah. Yeah, 9/11 was also 107 days after Andre's birthday. And remember, Rudy Giuliani was the 107th mayor, and it was on his 107th day of his age. Then we invaded Afghanistan on October 7th, 10/7. And now here we are again on 10/7. This time it's Israel. And it was 222 days after Big Boy's birthday, the Order Out of Chaos number, another big one with New York. If you haven't read my book, Number Games 9/11 to Coronavirus, it shows how those events are clearly connected through the number 222 and how much is behind that number. So, oh yeah, Clyde Davis, that's right. The one who dunked Whitney in the bathtub. He's behind Arista Records. Probably cousins with Larry Silverstein. We just had to pull it. Yeah, and again, that's who runs these record labels, you guys. So I'm not blaming Andre 3000. I'm just showing you who the 47 gang is. Doesn't it make sense, right? Let me take you back to that other headline from today. Doesn't it make sense? See what's going on today on the day, leaving 47 days left in the year? March for the military efforts of Israel, the military powerhouse state created out of this Jesuit cabal. One ritual at a time, 147 after the next. Okay, and other things. Yesterday, Trump's lawyer sister, who was federally appointed by Reagan, died on the same day that his son, Junior, appeared in court. And we covered that high ritual yesterday. Somebody left a really great comment. Shout out to KT Cleans a Lot. They said, doesn't Marianne Barry, the sister's name, remind you of Marion Barry, the former mayor of D.C., who had the split term? And when they said that, I said, oh my God, what a genius comment. And I immediately went to look at what age Marion Barry died at. Because I remember covering his death, and I remember it being in the earlier days of the work, and I didn't know that much back then. But he died just before Trump started running. Look at this, you guys. Marion Barry died at age 78, right? And Donald Trump's going to be 78 years old at the time of the next election. And he's Trump, and the Trump cards come from the tarot deck, where there's 78 cards in the tarot deck, you know? And Trump's trying to do what no president's done besides Grover Cleveland, whose name equals 78 in Gematria, have a split term like Marion Barry had a split term. So Mary Ann Barry dies in a ritual, as we covered. And, you know, she died on the day leaving 48 days left in the year. In fact, look, again, the base ciphers. Cleveland is 78 in the most simple, but it is also 48. And Cleveland's also 165. Trump's birthday is the 165th day of the year, June 14th. And notice how Scottish Rite, again, that's the Masonic branch in D.C., where the rites were written by Jesuits, so the Jesuits created the Scottish Rite. But you see how Scottish Rite is 165, 159. Again, Trump's born on the 165th day of the year. See the 78 as well, of course, light of his age that it's going to be, and the tarot deck. And again, the word Jesuit 78, like Elon Musk named the richest man in the world for the first time ever on the 78th anniversary of the death of Tesla and a million other things. But Scottish Rite, 165, 159. Donald Trump, 159. Born on the 165th day of the year. Of Scottish ancestry. Scottish Rite, 57. Just like Georgetown. Georgetown, the first Jesuit university. The Scottish Rite rites written by Jesuits. George is also 57. George Washington, who favored the Catholic Church, inaugurated age 57, 2 months after the first Jesuit university is established, Georgetown, which is 42 in reverse, and the same cipher as Jesuit. And Georgetown's also 129, which is 201 in base 8, counting like the Jesuit order. And it's also 141 like Adam Weishaupt, the Jesuit who founded the Illuminati at the same time America was founded. The Illuminati founded 64 days before America, like the 64 spaces on the chessboard, like the Jesuits from France, where International Chess Day is celebrated on the 201st day of the year. You know what I mean? like Pope Francis, the first Jesuit Pope, the first to live in Suite 201, and the last French Pope, the 201st in the history of the church. The Jesuit order 177 forwards. If you watched Monday Night Football last night, Josh Allen with another game throwing the ball right to the secondary. On his 177th day of his age, he had 177 passing yards, and they had to put up at halftime that he had 201 career touchdowns and 93 career interceptions. And again, 201-93, Order of Illuminati 201-93. They mentioned that he'd done that through 6 years. Remember, Saturn is the 6th planet. Saturn worship is 201. Saturnian order is 201 and 93 and 177 and 69 like the Jesuit order. And Pope Francis, the first Jesuit Pope, the first to live in Suite 201, is born on Saturnalia. And also, again, sacrificed to Saturn's 201. Like Beau Biden dead at 46, 201 days before the Pope's birthday. Joe Biden, number 46, elected 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, inaugurated on the 201st day of the nation's age, and so on and so forth. Okay? Man, I'm noticing the sacrifice to Saturn's even in the 75 as well. That's crazy. Just like Ignatius Loyola's got the 201 and 75, and Israel's 75, and its whole history is Saturn, and Saturn is related to Satan, and you think synagogue is Satan, and you think sacrifice is Satan, and you think about, Satan numbering everything. Your numbers up. So, anyhow, with regards to Trump, and he's going to be 78, and this tribute to tarot cards, and the most famous tarot deck in the world is the Rider-Waite Tarot. That's what it's known as officially. The Rider-Waite Tarot, which equals 78. 78, right? How perfect. And the man Waite, who's obviously the Waite part of the name, his full name in Gematria is 199, the 46th prime. That deck came out in 1909, 1909. I noticed this article written by the Metropolitan Museum of Art in 2016. Look, they had to put out an article on April 8th. Remember, 4/8, like Donald Trump's 48, right before he got elected. That was right before Prince died in the ritual, 201 days before Election Day. And, just all these high rituals going. But just like how yesterday, everything was 48 in the news, including the death of Donald Trump's sister. Yesterday was the day leaving 48 days left in the year. The Euphoria director dead out of nowhere. Big story in the headlines. Marlon Wayne's son, transgender. That was a big story yesterday on the day leaving 48. So that was yesterday. Now we're on to the 47s today. Can't wait for the 46s tomorrow. Yeah, by the way, just with regards to, how Trump, everyone said Trump announced too early for this upcoming election because he announced at the end of 22. The major arcana of the tarot cards, there's 22 of them. They're considered the Trump cards. Remember, Trump had the dial 88022, announcing at the end of 22. And, of course, Trump's 88, another big number with them. So, but yeah, where this gets even trippier with Marion Barry, who had a split term like Cleveland, dying at 78, is look at his name. Equals 134 like House of Cards, like Make America Great Again, like all the other 134s with Trump, from his wife to Jared Kushner to everything else I'm forgetting. There's been a lot of 134 with Trump over the years. House of Cards was the hit show about the presidency when Trump was running. But Marion Barry, who died, Marion Barry died 206 days before Trump announced he was running for president. Sacrifice in Jewish gematria equals 206, like the 206 bones in the adult body. And don't forget, they say the body's the temple, and Masonic temples also got that 206, just for the record. You see the 145 like Catholic, and it goes back to Temple Mount. Again, Israel was created on 14/5, you guys. The Masons' secrets are in Solomon's temple. The Templars used to be in Solomon's temple. The Templars are what the Jesuits became, who wrote the rites for modern Freemasonry. And all the teachings are in the Old Testament, the Jewish section, just like how Israel's the Jewish nation, created on 14/5. And again, there's 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament. But yeah, Marion Barry even fits in with this 134 thing that we've been talking about for all these years. One man is sacrificed, another man gains. Marion Barry's dead. Donald Trump begins his legacy as the president who duplicates history from Grover Cleveland, having his first convention in 26 in Cleveland. And remember, he did it in the stadium right after the Cavs won the NBA Finals. That probably wasn't an accident. NBA Finals, 78. Remember, Cleveland's also 48. And just like Donald Trump and just like James. And remember, the word wall is 48. And LeBron had to show the wall at the time Donald Trump was called the president-elect on the anniversary of the fall of the wall. And then Matt Damon on the 48th day of the year had a movie about the wall. Oh, man. People just slapping us in the face. And then they have been doing, Donald Trump's been doing rituals with Jericho. Jericho and the fall of the wall. The trumpets. The warnings in Revelation when Holy Bible's 45. Like Berlin Wall. Like all these jokes coming together through numbers and dates. Marion Barry, he died on his 263rd day of his age. That's the 56th prime. Again, Washington, D.C. and Society of Jesus, 56. Again, 206 days from Trump's announcement where Trump gave the 46-minute speech. Again, he's born in 46. You know what I realized? Oh here. All right, here's a good point about 46 and what I just realized today that somehow I was overlooking all this time. Remember, the Catholic Church began celebrating the sun in the sky's birthday in the year 274 AD, and the Jesuit motto, Sus Omnum Salvator, is 274. And then 46 years later, on the same day, they declared it was Jesus' birthday. 46 years later, Roman Catholic Church 320, it was the year 320 AD. And don't forget, this whole thing going on in Israel right now has everything to do with 104, which is another Roman Catholic Church number. And it also has a lot to do with 44, where 193 is the 44th prime, and 94 is a big one throughout history. It's a huge number with 9/11, and they called this Israel's 9/11. But anyway, 46 years later, from 274 AD, the sun in the sky, to 320 AD, Jesus. 46 years later. Trump, born in 46, just like Clinton and George W. Bush. Catholic 46. Joe Biden becoming number 46, beating Trump. This number has a connection to Catholicism and Jesus' birthday. And as we know, Jesus Christ in the same cipher where Catholics 46, Jesus Christ is 74. And in the most simple cipher, Jesus is 74, like cross, like Messiah, like gospel, like parables. Remember, the election was called for Joe Biden when he was at 74 million votes. Donald Trump was defeated at age 74. We know these are Society of Jesus jokes. Trump's going to return. Get it? You get it? And there's been the articles in Jerusalem about how some people think he really is the Messiah. Here, let's see if they've scrubbed this stuff. Trump, Messiah, Israel. Let's see what's coming up these days. Vanity Fair, 2019. Trump declares himself King of Israel, the second coming. The Times of Israel, January 26, 2020. This is the day of Kobe's death in the 74th NBA season. Kobe dead while traveling from Catholic Mass at age 41 on the Pope's 41st day of his age. Crucified 41. Cross 74. Kobe Bryant 41. Dead on a Sunday. But in recording, Parnas and Fruman compare Trump to Messiah. Okay? Isn't that funny that was the Times of Israel the day Kobe died? Talk about a day nobody would have caught that headline because all that they saw was Kobe's death, right? This probably would have been a big headline that day. Probably would have got more attention if Kobe hadn't died. But then Trump loses that that year. He gets crucified too, right? Lost to a man who was pretty much already dead. He was like floating around just barely like a spirit. Slow Joe, the character he portrays. But yeah, Jesus comes back. So I get the joke. Isn't it sick how sick it is, you guys? And some people really do think Trump is like the second coming. They think he's like the greatest thing ever. Think they trust the plan, QAnon. And what is QAnon? Like a bunch of Christian fanatics who still believe in their government, but they're so awake. They're so awake, but they believe in all the major indoctrination systems they all got when they were little kids. Religion and government, that's how awake they are. QAnon, Jewish Gematria 201. And don't let them tell you they were never called QAnon. That's bullshit. That's revisionist history. They were QAnon until they got finally humiliated. They were so sure Trump was going to win the election and he was coming back. And then it was going to be this date, he was coming back. And it's just like, no. I mean, learn gematria, guys. It's going to be number 46, Joe Biden. Catholics run the nation. But just wait till he comes back. They're like, see, we were right. He's coming back. It's like, okay. Okay. Donald Trump. Make America great again. See, this is where it all just starts to make a whole lot of sense. Jesus has the parallels with Lucifer. They're both the morning star, right? Lucifer 74. Trump's on mega. The highest degree of the satanic church is mega. And there's an argument if Lucifer and Satan are the same person. The terminology of Lucifer is used in the Masonic Bible. And Masonic is also 74. It's also used in the King James Bible, who was a Mason. And again, just with regards to Jesus, Satan, good, evil. Remember, God has the gematria of 55 and 10, but so does Satan. And Marilyn Manson, who's a member of the Church of Satan, has the song, When You Say God, I Say 10, and it's S-A-Y number 10. And Satan is 55 and 10, just like God, and both of those numbers are 10 because 55 is the 10th triangular number and 55 is the 10th Fibonacci number. And God's also big with 17 and Moses is also big with the 71, and we're talking about Andre 3000. He's coming back with the flute. I know I'm missing a piece of this with Andre 3000 and the flute. Let me see. Where's the flute in the Bible? You got to research these things more because the riddles are deep. The flute is mentioned in 1 Kings 140, Daniel 3:5, Daniel 3:7. The name of his new album equals 37, Daniel 3:10, and Daniel 3:15. And it's connected to Nebuchadnezzar. And I'm trying to remember what it is about Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. Is he a 201 himself? I forget what it is about Nebuchadnezzar. I go back and get on my research. Too long since I forgot a topic. Second emperor of Babylon, ruling from the death of his father. Historically, he is known as Nebuchadnezzar the Great, regarded as the empire of Babylon's greatest king. He ruled for 43 years. Again, all this stuff goes back to Babylon, and 43 is another significant number. Masonic is 43. You know, the powerful university that has all the secret societies, Yale, is 43. Again, George W. Bush, number 43. His brother, Jeb Bush, the 43rd governor. His father, the 43rd vice president. He was down in Florida when 9/11 happened. The election of him becoming number 43 went down to Florida. But, again, all throughout history, you can kind of see where these numbers go back to. Kings, right? Babylon. The letters D and C are 4 and 3. The Masonic city, where Masonic is 43. But yeah, if somebody wants to do some more thinking on the Andre 3000 album, the flute, the meaning. Let me look at Daniel 3:7 real quick, because I know the gematria of his new album is 37. Here, we'll read the Shakespeare version, the King James version. Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, I don't know what that is, and all kinds of music with a K. Interesting. All the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar, the king, had set up. Okay, I'm going to have to go back and reread Daniel. See? There's probably something to this. Since a lot of those verses were in Daniel 3, maybe we should just read it real quick. But I got to switch over to the New International Version. I'm not a King James guy. It's like, come on, man. You think these people are speaking like Shakespeare? It's the realest version. Oh, I'm sure. All these pasty white guys with British accents. Ancient times. Dost thou, Jesus? Okay, the image of the gold and blazing furnace. King Nebuchadnezzar made an image of gold, 60 cubits high and 6 cubits wide, and set it up on the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. He then summoned the, so many words I don't know, satraps, prefects, governors, advisors, treasurers, judges. I got to go back to my rule I used to teach when I was actually in school. When you don't know a word, look it up. A provincial governor in the ancient Persian Empire. Okay, so government. He summoned these government people. And then governors again. Okay, it seems, I guess I got to look more specifically. But all right, it's okay. High official people, I get it. So he summoned all these high official people to come to the dedication of the image he had set up. So all these, I'm just going to skip through the bigger word. All these high officials assembled for the dedication of the image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up, and they stood before it. Then the herald loudly proclaimed, nations and peoples of every language, this is what you are commanded to do. As soon as you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither. You know, this is right here in Daniel 3:5. Again, just I feel like what this has to do with what's going on in Gaza and Israel right now. Remember, the Gaza thing. The war began. The war was declared by Israel 35 days before the Superior General's birthday. Hamas is 35 years old right now. Gaza's 35, like Catholic, like Holy See, like Jesuitism. And then it gets into nastier things too. Well, again, the official government of Europe was once the Catholic Church. Europe's 35, but then you got the history of the Catholic Church's Templars being burned at the stake for worshiping Satan through Baphomet. Satan's 35, like Baphomet. And then you got the parallel with Jesus, the spelling of Jesus in Roman, Jesus 35. And 1225, the square root is 35. And, you know, Satan's associated with hellfire, and the sun's associated with fire, and morning stars, and dualism, and what's what, and it's hard to tell what's what, and the world's all a bunch of riddles, just like how Jesus spoke in parables, and it's like, if you don't got enough knowledge, how are you supposed to know anything? Even when you have enough knowledge, it's still hard to know anything. Hold on. Thought I turned that off. Okay, so again, Daniel 3:5. As soon as you hear the sound of the horn, and remember, they've been doing the little alert things here with the phone, right? Is this the modern day horn? We got the blast at 2:18 that's a tribute to Trump, the trumpet, who was the first president to have this idea, this alert. Again, trumpets are warnings in Revelation. Revelation, 22 chapters. War breaks out, Russia, Ukraine, 22. Trump announces his campaign in 22. Again, he was number 45, where Holy Bible's 45. But okay, coming back. As soon as you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music, you must fall down and worship the image of the gold that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. Whoever does not fall down and worship will immediately be thrown into a blazing furnace. Therefore, as soon as they heard the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, and all kinds of music, all the nations and peoples of every language fell down and worshipped the image of gold that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. At this time, some astrologers came forward and denounced the Jews. You know what verse that is? That's Daniel 3:8. Jew is 38, like Kabbalah, like what's going on today on the 38th parallel in DC. Yeah. That might, sometimes I just think I should just stop doing everything we've been doing, because we've been doing it for a decade. But I like to continue to do it to document and prove the point, and wake up as many more people as possible each day. But sometimes I think, like, maybe we'd have more success if we just did Bible study and just read the Bible together and just, like, pointed out with all of our knowledge, like, what stands out about these verses. At the time, some astrologers, and remember, Abrahamic is also 38, right? Special number 38. The Abrahamic religion starts with Judaism, then Christianity, Islam. They're all based in the Torah, the 5 books of Moses that are 187 chapters. And again, just remember, Gematria is 38, energy is 38, English is 38. Again, Gematria comes from Kabbalah, which is considered Jewish mysticism, and Jewish mysticism is 201, like the Holy Bible, like State of Israel, like everything else. So at this time, some astrologers came forward and denounced the Jews. 3:9, they said to King Nebuchadnezzar, may the king live forever. Your majesty has issued a decree that everyone who hears the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music must fall down and worship the image of the gold. See, this is also why I would get annoyed. I remember this, having to read the Bible as a kid, I'd be like, it's so redundant. Why does it keep saying the same thing over and over? Like, don't they respect my time? Let's get to the point. What am I supposed to do with this life? And that whoever does not fall down, and again, you guys, what I'm saying is this book is code. This whole book's written in code, just like how today's news stories are like redundant and just numbers thrown in, and it's because the same people, the same secret societies are in charge and at large. They've always been in control of the technology, which has controlled the humanity. From the printing of books, controlling what books can be out there, what information can be on the radio, the TV, the screen, on the YouTube now, even on YouTube. No, it can't be YouTube. You can't like that channel. We banned them because they were a hate speaker. They talked about 33 and mass shootings. That was serious hate speech. Bad. And there it is again. And that whoever does not fall down and worship will be thrown into a blazing furnace. So, okay, we got it multiple times. We got it in 3:6 and 3:11. 3:11. Ooh, 3:11. Blazing furnace. Get down with the plan. Get down with the COVID plan on 3:11, or you are a bad person. You will end up in the blazing furnace. But you see what happened? It's like, I doubt that. I think I'm going to survive. And then at the end, I was like, see, here I am. I survived. I didn't fall down for your tricks, your magic tricks, your numerical magic tricks, your same old rituals and numbers day after day. 3:12, but there are some Jews whom you have set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who pay no attention to you, your majesty. They neither serve your gods nor worship the image of gold you have set up. Furious with rage, Nebuchadnezzar summoned Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So these men were brought before the king, and Nebuchadnezzar said to them, is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Come on. That you do not... How come in the New Testament we get just like... Never mind. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are a lot easier. Now when you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music, if you are ready to fall down and worship the image I made, very good. But if you do not worship it, you will be thrown immediately into the blazing furnace. It's so redundant, right? Just like what they do to us with programming. Just keep hitting us with the same message every day, the same news story every day, over and over and over until it sticks in your head. Okay, I'll give up all my rights and liberties. Fine, you broke me. That's what they want out of people. Then what God will be able to rescue you from my hand? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to him, King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it, and he will deliver us from your majesty's hand. But even if he does not, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up. Well, I like that these people got balls and stand for something. This would never happen in America. In America, everybody would do exactly what they're told and drop their pants. But Nebuchadnezzar was furious with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and his attitude towards them changed. He ordered the furnace heated 7 times hotter than usual. It's for the big G, 7 times. And commanded some of the strongest soldiers in his army to tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and... from now on, you guys, it's just SM and A, okay? And throw them into the blazing furnace. From now on, that's BF. So these men, wearing their robes, trousers, turbans, and other clothes, were found. Here, somebody's calling over and over from Houston, and I'm not sure if there's somebody who wants to help out. Hello? Yeah? Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Hold on, let me put you on since you got a message for everybody. Okay, he's got the proper pronunciation and tell it to me.
Okay, so when the 40 years of captivity happened, when Nebuchadnezzar invaded Judah for the second time, brought back all of Israel into, and God told him this is going to happen. If you don't keep my covenant, don't keep the deal, your enemy's going to take you over. You're going to be deposed from the land. That's exactly what happened. So, but Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, Their Hebrew names are Azariah, Malachi, and something else. It's in Daniel. They were part of the nobility of Judah. Okay, and they were more intelligent than the rest of the court because they did not partake of the king's fancy food, and they were basically vegetarians. If you look in the first couple chapters of Daniel, it relates this, and they became very high-standing officials in his government. So Nebuchadnezzar was like the most badass in the Babylon. I mean, if you look at any description, even in the Bible or outside the Bible, there's no kingdom that ever eclipsed Babylon's glory and majesty and beauty. Okay, so they had it all. And then and Nebuchadnezzar. Some people say Nebuchadnezzar, but I just say Nebuchadnezzar. He got really high on his horse, and he created this idol. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and Daniel were worships of the Most High God, Yahweh. That's his pronounced name. It's not Yahweh, it's Yahweh. That's how you say it in the Paleo-Hebraic or Aramaic tongue. So they retained their faith in their God, and they wouldn't bow down to the idol. And they paid a price for it. But the tie back here is who's demanding worship or to themselves today unless you get obliterated? Think about that.
Right, exactly. Exactly. If you turn on cable news, it's worship Israel, and that's it.
Right. Thank you. And who has twisted it around more so in this country?
How about this? Hold on. Before you make your point, what are the parallels just even in the sounding of the name with Netanyahu and Nebuchadnezzar?
Right. There you go. Okay. All right. Good. Very good. So who are the biggest proponents of this bogus, twisted analogy? Because listen, the Bible says, it's very clear that you keep the covenant, you represent my character in the world, you get to become the strongest nation. You default on the covenant, and all these curses are going to come on you, which is exactly what happened. What did Christ say to the Jews? He said, your house is left to you desolate. They don't have the covenant anymore. They broke the contract. And so these people in Israel, they think they're entitled to that land. They are not entitled to it. So the biggest proponents of that are the evangelicals in this country, which are false prophets. You would call them, they used to be Protestants, but there's very little Protestants left in this country. They're all evangelicals. They've all been taken over. So the analogies you're trying to draw, I just wanted to call you and highlight. And by the way, that's going to be the biggest issue in this country, because when Sunday worship comes, when they enforce Sunday law, and they will, it's going to be absolute tyranny in this country.
Yeah. So are you saying you think the leads I'm following here in today's news are making some sense?
Yeah, but you'd have to. I mean, I wish I could give you a Bible study on Daniel. It would blow your mind. It really would blow your mind. And I would tie it back into Revelation, especially Daniel 7, Daniel 9, because it tells the history. It predicts the Messiah, predicts what would happen to the Messiah. It predicts what would happen to the Jewish nation, okay? It predicts that they would forsake the Messiah, okay? It predicts everything that happened in the New Testament, okay? But you'd have to understand Daniel chapter 7, 9, and Daniel 11, okay?
Okay.
And Daniel 11 predicts geopolitically how the king of the north, which is the Vatican, acts in the last days. So, and it ties into Revelation. So it's really brilliant. What they're trying to do is here's where your study comes in, and it's brilliant. You're showing how they're using the Bible to manipulate it to their own script and not what's really happening in the Bible. Okay? And you bring that out every day. So to confuse people and to use psychological warfare and subterfuge and to deceive people, because most people are not going to sit down and crack a book and get into it, whether it's the Bible or even one of your books or any other book. Okay, you have a fraction of the people who go deep into things. They'll go deep in Netflix and Hulu and
Right.
HBO,
Right.
but they're not going to go deep and get the understanding that they need. I mean, I've been at this stuff for over 25 years, man. I mean, I had a 3-letter agency come after me for what I know. So I mean, I got war wounds just like you do. But it's once you understand Daniel Revelation, you get the whole picture. It's like, oh man, this is pretty cool, and it makes sense. And then you'll understand why there's been such a war against the Bible, okay, and why there's so many different versions of it, okay. I'm going to give you there's a guy named Walter Veith. He did an excellent video.
I know who he is.
It's called Battle of the Bibles, and it gives you the whole history of how the Bible was distorted from the Texas, how Rome got it in, how it used its own versions. And it's all scholarly, very scholarly work, okay? Battle of the Bibles, Walter Veith. If you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, he has the Amazing Discoveries channel. His channel's called Amazing Discoveries.
Right. Walter Veith, look up Battle of the Bible. He should have 2 or 3 versions. Look at the longest version. But you'll understand the war against, it's really the war against the Texas Receptus, the handed down scriptures, okay? Because most people who believe in the living God were pretty much persecuted, okay? Whether they call themselves Christians or Jews or whatever, okay? So forget about the names. You're having, it's a great controversy between the God of this world, which is Satan, and the God who created this world, who usurped it from mankind, okay? And that's what the whole thing is about. And then you have distortions between that, distortions of history, distortions of fact. And this is why people are so confused on these things. So I just wanted to come in and say that a little bit. I don't want to take up too much of your time.
If you want to call into TFR tomorrow and do a big breakdown on Daniel, I think that would be actually a really timely thing.
Well, let me think about it, okay? Because that's a very weighty thing, and I'd have to, really prepare for that. And I can give an overview.
Yeah, an overview is fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can call back again and get. Somebody keeps calling in from Houston now that you called in, so I'll take the other call. But think about that for tomorrow. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Right, have a good one.
Okay.
All right, caller.
Hey, Zach, what's going on, man? How are you?
Doing well. Did you know that I'm doing a live stream right now?
Huh?
You know I'm doing a live stream right now, right?
Right, yeah, I'm watching.
So here's just the weird thing. I don't think you're aware of this, but that last caller is also from Houston. So I was like, how weird is it that he calls in and then another guy just starts calling in from Houston?
Well, this is why I called last week, but I was going to tell you,
Go ahead.
Are you there?
I'm here, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm going to let you know that when you try to leave comments on your deal through the live stream, if you put up 2 pages, you have an algorithm on there. And when you type in on there a comment, YouTube won't let me comment on your page. But if you pull up 2 pages, you will see where I'll make a comment on one page. I can see it on my page, but it doesn't go through.
That's what they're doing to everybody. That's why it looks like nobody leaves a response to anything. That's how a video can have like 5,000 views and 6 comments. It's annoying. I know. It's just like they don't want people to be able to communicate.
I see that. Yeah, but the reason why I call is it's because
you're there, but you're cutting out, but you're there.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's what it is. It's tutor. But piggybacking on 47, I studied something it's called Who Now Who deals with Gematria too, but it deals with something called the Gematric grid to the planet. And the number, this is the 47th week of the month. I mean of the year. It's the 47th week of the year. There's going to be 47 days left in the year come this Thursday. This Thursday is the 318th day of the year. Well, the reason why I think that number is so important because they use 318 as Shreveport's area code. If there was going to be a Hegelian dialectic, or there was going to be something with dealing with that number 47, it would happen this week. I'm looking at Thursday, but you would always give it 3 days, so it'd be 3 days before, like today maybe, or probably about, I'd say Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So I would say keep your eyes open and eyes peeled because you're going to be doing a show on somebody dying this week, by the weekend, because that 47 is sitting right there double. And when you understand perfect symmetry, that's 47 and 47. And another thing on the number 47, when you said the big G, when you're reading from the book of Daniel, to piggyback on your other caller, but the book of Daniel is based on a certain number pattern when you read it. It's more to it than just gematria. That book is dealing with astrology. And it's dealing with music, it's dealing with fire, air, everything. So when you really look at what's going on, the number 47 is a very important number. Why? Because 47 is the G key on the piano. When you count, you go take an 88 key piano, and you count from like the A on the left, and you go 47, it's going to be sitting right there on that middle G key. That middle G key is linked to the Masonic G of the compass and the square. It all deals with music, vibration, and all this other stuff that go with it. So when you see that, what they do is, well, when I say they, the system, they create something that's called a dedicatory instrument. It deals with the number 47. A dedicatory instrument is a spiritual stringed instrument that deals with vibration. It's a piano. Every time you see a goddess in any of the old Hindu, Voodoo, Pentecost, anything, you're going to see the goddess sitting in front of a stringed instrument, because the strings and the vibrations is what controls everything. So when you look at a dedicatory instrument, basically is a stringed instrument, and that's where we get the term, I played you like a piano. And they've been playing us like a piano for the longest, am I right?
Indeed, yeah, those are great observations. I was just thinking about with 47 in music, like in the 90s, the big music scene was Seattle on the 47th parallel. And of course, words like rock have gematria 47, and so does the word radio, where we hear a lot of music over. So, interesting.
Yeah, so number 40 is to find you an 88 key piano. Find your 88 key piano and just count to the 47th key. That 47th key is going to be the G key. Dedicatory documents are made through government off of that middle G key. Dedicatory documents are any document or contract that you sign in on, like child support contracts, traffic tickets, or anything else. These are instruments so they can bridge in on you. And the concept of that comes from the number 47.
Huh, that's crazy. Yeah, those are great observations. I have to list that again.
Right there on your screen, 47. You see right there, piano key frequency, and you see that 47 pop up right
high G, high G.
It's going to be the G key. I'm looking at it right now. You're pulling it up.
It says high G.
Yeah, it's going to be at the 47th key is the G, ain't it? It's G.
Yeah, high G it says.
There you go, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. 47, baby. It all deals, everything you're doing when you're dealing with gematria, geometry, or anything, the way you know it's true, it'll always be back to something natural to the planet. In this particular case, we just linked this particular 47 back to the piano, which represents sound, music, art, and so forth.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
That G right there, you see it? Boom. That middle G is your 47. It's the 47th. Right at the bottom. The 47th problem of, I don't know that word.
47th problem of Euclid. He's the Greek mathematician. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's perfect because it's like 47 degrees on the compass and the big G, the 7th letter. And
it's right there in front of the thing.
And 7, so what else I notice about this piano thing is 7 is the 4th prime number. And it says that it's the G4 as well. It's referred to as G4, the 47th key.
But it's still 47.
Or it's like 74, right? If you just turn the G to a 7, it's like 7-4.
Yeah, well, it deals with, see, beyond gematria. It's a spiritual value right there. It's still Semitic 47.
Well, that's what I'm always pointing out, too, is that what they've encoded the language with are things that are like biblical or they have to do with this world. So it's like it's all in sync.
Yeah, man, it's good to talk to you, but I'll call back again sometime, man.
All right, appreciate it.
All right.
All right, take care. I was hoping he was going to tell another story, but I think sometime he'll call in and tell the other story. He actually called me recently and told me that this knowledge saved his life. And but I'll let him call in and tell that story sometime, because it's definitely a personal story. But yeah, that's really interesting. That is really interesting about the 47th key. So the 88 Ks of the piano. All right, but yeah, I am the master of mispronunciation, and that's why I hate reading the Bible, because I can never pronounce anything in it correctly. But yeah, you know what? We'll just save this continuation for tomorrow. I think he will call in TFR. And he'll have at least something to say. He might not be ready for the full presentation yet, but again, you guys, everything they're doing is biblical, and it's crazy how they use a guy like Andre 3000. Makes me sad that they use him. Here, let's close out one more time with that little Andre 3000 verse I played. And again, listen to what Andre says. Again, this same man who's being used with this flute thing that's clearly synced up with the Bible and what's going on in Israel, just like how they used him and Big Boy years ago for 9/11 and bombs over Baghdad. Here we go again now after Israel's 9/11, and again, they had him synced up with Ukraine. I knew I wasn't tripping. I was like, this is too perfect the way they got all this. I remember covering that right at the start of it. But again, listen to Andre. Listen to what he said. You wouldn't listen to everything he says. There's actually so much wisdom in his little verse here. And you can tell it's a frustrated verse, just like how so many verses in music are frustration. You know, you're making music about the things that make you mad. He's talking about just being around, staying away from low vibration, ignorant people who wouldn't understand if they stood under it. Again, using this man for this big ritual. But whether you appreciate hip-hop music or not, Andre 3000, easily one of the best of all time. Listen to him.
Anybody out there, hear me, get your hands up. If anybody out there, feel me, get your hands up. If anybody out there, hear me, get your hands up. If anybody out there, feel me, get your hands up.
You wouldn't understand if you stood under it. It's like the more that I talk to you, the dumber that I get. The closer that I walk to you, the further that we stand. Apart distant, nobody has the upper hand, but my body's resistant. So now, throw your phalanges in the ground. I'm still around, unbelievers stay from hell around. I found negative niggas, they only keep you down. Transmitting from Native American burial ground. I carry around the weight of our worlds on my shoulder pads. I'm supposed to blast space invaders up somebody's dad. Serious as A, B, C. If knowledge be the key, then butter roasted on the poach. And wait for your woman to get her work so she can roast your ass. And either find an open window fast. Word to the motherfucker. Word to the...
Word to the motherfucker. That's why some people don't like hip-hop, because there's just too much cussing. But again, I mean, for all the haters out there, I mean, just masterfully put together, delivered, profound, and for people in this community, they should resonate with what he had to say. Don't you just resonate with so much of what he said? The more that I talk to you, the further that we stand apart. It's just like the trolls who come after me. They always expose themselves for. It's like you're not even in the league. Just stop. You know, I mean, a guy just tried to make fun of Gematria in 44. And then the next day, the Euphoria producer's dead at 44 out of nowhere. And this is the same guy who brags about getting an interview with MLK's daughter. It's like you're putting down the 44 knowledge in light of what happened to MLK. The way he got smoked in a 44 ritual, just like Malcolm X. And realize that 44 fateful number all over black history. Really important, black people. If you don't realize it, Andre 3000 is one of them. He's in that list. Maybe he doesn't get to go up as high as MLK or Malcolm X or Barack Obama, who all have the 44 all over him. Just like how Obama's book came out the other year on November 17th. But, you know, Andre, he's in the ranks. You know, he's on the map. He did some profound things for this world. And, nobody really respected like the South and hip-hop that much until Outkast and Goody Mob came around and people like Scarface in Houston. But yeah, it's sad how these mega talents just get used by this cabal. And it's like, I highly doubt that anything Andre is honestly trying to put in the record. I got to imagine. I highly doubt that anything's nefarious, but I bet the record label might say like, oh, make sure you use this tune, or we need the song to be this long, or the album to be this long. They got some ritualism they're going to have him participate in with it. It's like, that's the way I see it. Because we know it's the Clyde Davises of the world that own the Andre 3000s, and they're the ones sacrificing the Whitneys in the bathtubs on the 42nd day of the year. So it's like they're paying them the money, they're making them famous, they got them on the strings, and they're using their talents for their purposes that are always biblical. And yeah. Anyhow, we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Actually, hold on, let me just check, make sure there's no more breaking 47 news on this day. Again, Mike Johnson equals 56, 56 Speaker of the House. We know that's important, you guys. We know how big that number is to D.C., so all these crazy things happening in the world this time, it's not an accident that we're getting the 56th Speaker of the House. And by the way, did you guys know that the 55th Speaker of the House was from the L.A. area and turned 55 the day that Kobe Bryant died? Did you know that? Kevin McCarthy, his 55th birthday was the day that Kobe died, became 55th Speaker of the House. Remember how they were just doing the rituals with Jim Jordan synced up with Michael Jordan when he was trying to be Speaker of the House? So that should tell you something there that, yeah, there is something deeper going on even with basketball, because we know the cabal controlling all things. Entertainment, sports, politics, making sure every ritual, every story is just right day after day by the numbers. And I'm sure tomorrow we'll be back talking about 46. I'm sure tomorrow's just going to be ripe with the 46s. So... all right. Again, you guys, other channels are suspended. If they suspend Gematria Effect Sports, I have no YouTube channels available right now to stream on. And, I mean, it's crazy how fast this happened because they deleted GematriaEffectNews 23 and 24. You guys, okay, look at what they did. It's funny how it was that way, right? Because I had GematriaEffectNews 22, 23, 24, 25, plus sports. And the reason it got to be this is because I was losing channels so fast. I decided to keep all these channels up and cycle them so that when I had a strike on one, I could use the other one and then let the strike expire, because the way it works is if you get 3 strikes at once, which means 3 strikes within 3 months, they delete your channel all the way. Well, recently, they just took GematriaEffectNews 23 and 24, channels I wasn't even using, not very much, and they struck them both 3 times and deleted it. So I was thinking about that. I was like, they deleted 23 and 24, which adds up to 47, right? And then they left GematriaEffectNews 22 and 25, which also adds up to 47. And now they just suspended GematriaEffectNews 22 2 days ago. And now they suspend GematriaEffectNews 25 on the day leaving 47 days left in the year. And now all I have is GematriaEffect Sports on YouTube. So, again, before long, I might not have any channels on YouTube. But I'll always make a new one, and I do have my own website, which is GematriaEffect.news. You know, the website where I post everything that I present from, GematriaEffect.news. And I do have a Twitter, and I have Free to Find Truth, and I do have Instagram. So, anyway, the censorship. It's just so annoying. And look how dumb it is, you guys. Again, this is how I got censored today. That's how I got censored today. By the numbers. Censored by the numbers on the day leaving 47 days left in the year. Boom. I uploaded a short video this morning, GematriaEffectNews 25, and like 2 minutes later I got the letter that I was suspended because this video from 33 weeks earlier about how it looks like the Nashville shooter's shoes went from Pumas to Vans in the security footage, which was a true thing that even Newsweek wrote an article about. My video about how the shoes changed in the video gets taken down for hate speech. I also pointed out all the 33s in the shooting in that video, and it gets taken down 33 weeks later on the nose. I mean, you don't think that they're messing with us? You don't think they're like, oh yeah, you want to expose the what is 47? Enjoy your suspension on the day leaving 47 days left in the year. And it's just so obvious what it is, you guys. It's all politics. We're reaching way less of an audience than we would have because of these suspensions. We're not getting out on more channels that we have, including the channel where most people watch right now, GematriaEffectNews 25. So yeah, the appeal was submitted. We'll see if they... Now, and what's funny, if you're a YouTube content creator, you're probably aware of this. You know how before when you appealed, you had a place where you could write your appeal, you could write some information? Now you don't even have a place to write a box. You just get to click a button. Do you want to appeal or not? So it's like, okay. If I appeal and can't write anything, how's this work? You guys already decided to take the video down. Just gets stupider as time goes on. I liked it before when you could write some sentences. Not that they ever responded to what you wrote, so maybe that's probably why they just got rid of it, because they're like, we're not even looking at it anyway. Why waste your time? We're just rolling the dice to see if we lift the suspension because we know they're all bullshit anyway. Oh yeah, and here's one more thing that's sick. You know how hospitals keep blowing up in Israel, and a few weeks back they were like, oh, it's a mystery. We don't know who blew up the hospital. But now you tune in CNN, they're showing this story, and they're saying this is the type of thing Hamas does. Uses human shields, hides in refugee camps, hides in hospitals. It's like, okay, if those are the tactics of the enemy, do you know why those would be the tactics of the enemy? Because they don't have any choice. They're living in one of the most impoverished places in the world. They hardly have anything. They're fighting one of the most advanced militaries and air forces in the world. I mean, it's just like they present this like, see, look at these evil scumbags. That's why we have to blow up the refugee camp and the children's hospital. It's like, no, maybe what we need to do is stop blowing things up. How's blowing things up helping out anyway? I thought it was the history of blowing things up in the Middle East that spawned all these radical extremists that are, the ones capable of a 9/11 or this, even though we all know this is Western intelligence doing this and probably... Again, they're the ones instigating all these behaviors. That's why all the rituals are so perfect. Year in and out, day in and day out, month after month. But yeah, it's just our news media. It's sick. It's like they're trying to persuade you why it's okay. It's not that big of a deal when they blow up a children's hospital or a refugee camp. It's because they got to get the bad guys. Yeah, we might have to kill 1,000 innocent people, but at least we got the one bad guy. Look, didn't you see our headline? He was a top ISIS commander. Okay. You know what? I did see one other news story today, and it's that Patrick Mahomes wears the same underwear always for game day, and he's been doing it for years. And they were interviewing him on CNN, and he said sometimes he doesn't even wash them. I'm just like, I mean... Is this like, so a bunch of kids learn to not wash their underwear and just wear the same pair for like another 2 months? Is this like supposed to help the, is this like part of the population control agenda too? Like killer fungus on your genitals? How many guys are not going to wash their underwear now? They're just going to wear the same nasty underwear because that's what Patrick Mahomes said he does on TV on the day leaving 47 days left in the year when the Chiefs were in the first Super Bowl in the 47th NFL season. All right. Yeah, it's gross. It's like, and it's on the daily 47 days. You're like, this is some obvious bullshit. He doesn't wash his underwear. He made some kind of like sometimes he goes several weeks without washing. It's like, God, can you imagine the tights, football, heavy equipment, heat running? I mean, you'd have the nastiest. They'd be all crusty from all the sweat. The next time you put them on, they're hard and crisp and stinky. Oh, God, man. All right. We'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Till next time.